Hey there, Chad here for the AI Content Dojo, and in this video we're going to learn how to season a cast iron skillet. Wait. No, that's not right. Sorry. We're going to learn how to use AI to create semi-optimized SEO content. Okay, little cheesy intro out of the way. I think you know that as all this AI technology kind of develops, it's all kind of breaking new ground and it's upending markets and things like that. And we are the early adopters who can take great advantage of it to improve our efficiency and our writing capabilities. But, not only to stay competitive, but, we need to actually answer the reader's intent and also be found in Google. It's like a dual-edged sword, right? You gotta swing it both ways. You gotta make sure that you can use these skills to not only create content fast, but content that's actually helpful and content that will actually be found in Google, so that the people you're trying to help actually find it. And I just said actually. So normally SEO optimization would be something that you'd probably worry about after you've done the bulk of your writing, but then that means that you just have to do it all later, right? And so tools like Frase, of course, make that pretty easy. But one way that you could actually do a bit better is to figure out a way of getting content from the AI as you're writing that's already at least semi-optimized for SEO, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. The demo at the end is just really quick, so don't worry about this being crazy long. And if you stay to just before the demo, I'm going to show off, or I'm going to explain something about an added benefit of this that you might not have expected based on the title of this article or of this guide. So first up, kind of the star of the show is the granular controls, or are the granular controls that's shortly introduced. I want to say it was probably a week or so ago. And essentially, it's a way for you to kind of add a little bit of weight to some of the keywords that you're trying to request, or pass, I should say, pass to the AI in order to get back content that you're expecting. And so when you're thinking in terms of SEO, you're expecting something that has some of the keywords that you're targeting in your content, right? And so in shortly, the instruct command is where all the power is. The instruct command has the ability to have these fine-grained controls over what you want in the output. And that's the thing like here. So for example, if I said, please explain how to season a cast iron skillet, and then it's +++ traditional, that triple plus means something like, really, I wish you could really use this word in the output. So when this gets sent over to the GPT-3, the AI, it's going to return something that has a higher probability of containing the word traditional. And I think if you've gotten this far in the video, you can probably guess what's going to happen later. But I just want to mention too that I'm talking about triple plus because I really want this word to appear. The opposite is also true if you do triple minus, which now in the website looks like one long M dash. That's actually supposed to be 3 minuses. I better fix that. But if you do minus, that means that word will not appear in the output. And if you do just 2 minuses, you're kind of suggesting like, hey, please don't use this word. And it still might use it, but it'll try not to. And so you can see here how to season the cast iron skillet, minus soap. Definitely don't want the word soap to appear, that in this instance. And so let's move on to the part where you are probably guessing what's next. You got to find the highly relevant keywords for your topic. And then, that's step one. If you don't know what they are and you don't know what to use those triple pluses on, then Frase can help you out with that. So Frase has the ability to do the research for you and show you topical scores where, the top competitors for that search term are doing a good job, and in Google's eyes are the sort of the leaders to sort of look to find what the most important content is for that term, in a sense. They might not necessarily be the best. They just happen to be the best right now in Google's eyes. And so that's why you're writing an article that's going to be better than theirs, right? That's the goal anyway. So what you do is you just log into Frase, you create a new document that's based on the term that you're targeting. And in this case, in this example, it's cast iron skillet. And then you just check the topic score tab for related words. I like to use the long tail keywords first. And then if there's nothing in there that kind of really fits for me, I might switch it over to the top topics and pick one of those. What you want to kind of do though, and this is the skill part, this is the part where it's almost hard for me to show this to you because it's going to be different for every topic. It's going to be different for every combination of words that you're using. But you need to kind of think ahead, like maybe act as if, or like put yourself in the shoes of the AI. Like what if somebody had sent the request to you? Does that combination of words sound right? You know, like if you do plus 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 in a word that's just kind of like really strange for the request, you might throw the AI for a little bit of a loop, right? It might return some really strange results. I mean, that said, if you're working in Shortly, like I'm showing here, well then guess what? You don't have credits and you can experiment all you want. Maybe sometimes if you've got the time, you're not trying to work fast, try some crazy stuff in there and see what happens. You never know. You might stumble upon something that's really great. And if you do, please share it with me. And actually, please share it in the AI Content Dojo Facebook page, or Facebook group, sorry. And I'll have a link to that in the description below. Okay. Let's don't jump into Shortly just yet. After you've gone into Frase and you get your list of relevant keywords, now it's time to feed the AI. And so this is the part you knew was coming. If you paid attention a little bit, you can kind of tell. You're going to go to Frase, get the words, come back to Shortly, and use the words. And we're going to put them into these pluses so that we can kind of push the AI to use those words. And by using those words, you're going to get back what is I call it semi-optimized because it's not going to be perfectly optimized. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But those two here in this example, I use two keywords. Please explain how to season a cast iron skillet. Triple plus related, triple plus keywords. Related keywords. Obviously those aren't the real keywords. What I'm trying to show you here is it's two different ones. And yeah, that's how you can use long tail keywords, the ones where it's like 2 or 3 to 5 words, You just put pluses between them like that. Now, the catch is that it's not going to put them in that order necessarily. And so that's why I call that semi-optimized. But you're still going to get some other benefits. I'll talk about those in just a moment too. So a real example might be, please explain how to season a cast iron skillet, triple plus non-stick, triple plus surface, right? I want non-stick surface to appear. And the results that I got at the time when I ran that was something like, would you like a non-stick surface? Okay, that's perfect. That used the words right away in the first part of it, which is actually pretty good for SEO too. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you're following along, you can read this. The good thing is that it kicks out something decently usable, and you can always do redos and stuff to try and get something more focused on what you're looking for in your topic. Okay, it's not perfectly optimized because this is only going to get you part of the way there, right? It's going to get you some content that's using some of those keywords. What you're going to want to do, of course, after this is like a next step of optimization. You would copy the content of this article into Frase and then try and reach that 100% topic score, which, don't beat yourself up on it. You don't have to attain that. Just try and get as close as you can because honestly, if you have focused on the reader's intent and if you're giving the reader or delivering exactly what they need to answer or solve their problem, then just a little bit of SEO optimization is really all you need. What you're going to find happens is Google finds your article, and as it starts testing by sending a little bit of traffic to you and people like cling on and realize that it's good and they hang out, they don't bounce away from your content quickly, that's a signal to Google that the content's good. And over time, your stuff is just going to grow. The little bit of optimization is just to make sure that in Google's eyes, your content seems to thoroughly answer, have based on the rest of the content in that, in your basically your competition for that term. If everybody's talking about something and you're completely missing it, they might not include you in the results. Okay, so here's the extra bonus. And as any good AI content dojo guide would be, it wouldn't be complete without pointing out something like an extra synergy that you might get with some of these techniques, right? So when you're using these topic-rich keywords in your AI requests, you're not only actually improving the chances of it being SEO optimized, or at least semi-optimized, but you're probably going to get back better AI written text as well. It'll be of higher quality. And that's because when you're supplying all these extra keywords, you're kind of giving clues or, added context so that you're guiding this AI to produce something more, something better, something extra for you. And, it's therefore more highly relevant to the topic that you're writing about, and also probably more likely to match your expectations. The magic, I talk about this quite a bit, but the magic ratio, or the golden ratio, I guess, is 1-for-1, basically. If you can, with 100% reliability, click that write for me button or run this instruct command, and the AI gives you back exactly what you expected, as if you would have taken the time to write that yourself. Like, not just write it quickly, but you spent the time to gather your thoughts, think of your resources, and write out that quality, sentence or two. If the AI can do that for you, then, and it can do it for you every time you hit that button, that's the golden ratio. Now, obviously, none of the AI tools are there yet, right? They're creeping up on it, and it may be something that's never going to be achievable. But the goal, obviously, of these tools is to get to that point where when you click that button, you feel very confident that you're going to get back something that's awesome and great for you. Not only you as the writer, but the content that your reader is going to read is on point. And so that's kind of a win-win, isn't it? You get a little bit of SEO optimization out of it, and you get better content and better results from the AI, which kind of ultimately means that you're going to work faster, because if you get back those results that you expect right away because of the extra topic-rich words, then there's no need to keep redoing the request and things like that. You just move right along. So that's it for this guide. I hope that you've learned some smart ways of using those controls to achieve a little bit more of an SEO optimized output. How about a little bit of a bonus tip though? When you're running these commands, or or asking the AI to write for you, pay attention to what you're using as inputs to the AI. That's the part that's inside of the square brackets, or the other parts of your article when you hit that write for me. If things are a little bit vague or don't provide enough context, then you should spruce them up. Like add something that kind of gives it meaning, like let's see if I can think of an example off the top of my head. Like maybe if it said, like, if you were trying to find something like, what are the best parks, and that was your instruct command. It was square bracket, what are the best parks, square bracket. What's the AI really going to write about? Okay, it's going to write about parks because it knows that, and it's going to just start kicking out content about parks, I guess. Chances are that your article is not just about what are the best parks, right? It's probably about, what are the best, large public parks in New York or something, right? You've got some places you're probably thinking about, or some other, I guess modifier words, some like large or public, or, with lots of events, things like that. Just add more context, and you're going to get better results from the AI. And in fact, you can use Phrase's topic score stuff to give you some of those words to use in your requests. All right, a little bonus tip there. All right, let's jump over into, well, I'll show you shortly first, and just sort of show you what I came up with. Obviously, this title actually doesn't have any meaning in this particular context because I'm running a /instruct command, right? And /instruct's a little special compared to the other commands. When I say other commands, I mean these down here, the rewrite, shorten, and expand. Those commands, the context, only what is inside of this text is used as information for the AI to use to give you back the content. But when you click write for me or you use instruct, there's a little bit more that happens. So when you are over here and you run instruct, anything that's above it, but not the title or the article brief, like because you have an article brief over here, you can add some stuff into. Those don't count. Title and article brief do not count for instruct. Only the content above it. And in this case, there's no content above it, so there's nothing interfering with it. One more tip that I include in a ton of my videos: what if this was here? What if this was up here, right? That would mean that this content would be influencing this content, which is fine because this content just happens to also be about this. But if this content was something totally different and you did not want that to interfere with this, you would use a special command, the /, and that's what I like to call the context cutoff ruler, because it cuts off the context right there at that ruler. And so that means now if I run this, it's the same as if that wasn't there at all, and it's just being run right there at the top. Okay, so this is the content that I got back the first time I ran this. I also want to mention that all the things that you can do inside of Shortly are tied to a keyboard command. You can see those here. You get Command Enter to run instruct. Command Enter also runs write for me, but if you are highlighting some text, it'll, instead of doing write for me, it'll do instruct. So let me show you as an example. If you, let's say, place skillet on the stovetop. Let me just take this down here. Do this, Command Enter, we'll see, wrap it in instruct, and trigger the command to run. And let me undo that. And let me just undo again. I didn't actually look, sorry. All right, so let's try a different one where it's, let's try expand. Let's see. What could we use expand on? Or actually, you know what? Let's try rewrite. Like, let's say if I wanted to do this and rewrite it. Let me look at the cheat sheet real quick. Rewrite is Command P, right? So go back here. Let's highlight this, Command P, and that placed rewrite around it, triggered it, and starts the rewrite. Okay? You can do that for all those commands. Basically, rewrite, shorten, and expand, they work on text that is already existing. You use instruct when you want to get new content. So instruct, please explain how to season a cast iron skillet, and we want to make sure it uses iron skillet care, which it did not fully use in this first result. Now there's another little trick I want to show you. Remember, it's Command Enter to run instruct, but if you hold down Shift when you hit Command Enter, it's going to keep the command there instead of taking it away and replacing it with content. The content will appear under it. And there you go. Okay, so that's the examples. You know, try and use this and get some great content for your readers. And in Frase, here's what it looks like. I need to find some topic-rich keywords, and I want to use them for those granular controls. So, of course, this is a brand new document. Cast iron skillet is my term. One of the first things you need to do is, after Frase goes out and gets all of its sources for you, you want to go to, where is it? Why is it hiding? Interesting. Oh, right here. When it's all zoomed in, it's like actually lower. For results process, right? And I hit edit on this because I've already gone in and done this. I didn't want cast iron skillet like products, right? That's what Amazon and Epicurious and all these are all products, but there's some of them, right? Cast iron skillet's 10 things you need to know. That's content. This is content. And I just basically unchecked all the sources that were not the types of sources that I wanted for my term, and then hit save. And then in this case, it ended up with 4 results, which means that I've got 4 sources of information that Frase has got for me, and I can go through here and study up on it if I was going to really write something about this. But the topic score is where you go for all those words, right? You want to see if you can find like cast iron skillet. You can go to long tail over here. You can find like acidic food, iron cookware, layer of oil. All that kind of stuff is related to cast iron skillet, but also related to the content of it, not like the product sale of it. So different intent for the reader. It's important for you to do that so that you get the right keywords to use and to plan out for. And then what you would probably do is, let me just switch this to my content. I'm going to go a little bit further than I planned to go in this guide. And let's go to, oh, you know what? I don't have it. Never mind. I'm sorry. I had a more thoroughly written bit of content about that, but I don't have it anymore. I was going to paste it. What I was going to say is what you would do is after you're done writing your little bit of content, using instruct and write for me and all those other commands, the final result is like sort of the rough draft. I would paste that into here and then use this topic score to try and get as high of a topic score. And apparently for this term, you're going to need to reach a 72.4 to match the average that the other websites who are the competitors for this term have reached. So this one would be a pretty tough one. I imagine that cast iron skillet is a competitive area. So good luck if you choose that as your topic. But that's it for this guide. I hope that you found it helpful, and not only do you produce some SEO optimized content, but you also just start getting better content from the AI. And in the long run, that's going to help you out quite a bit, I think. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below. If you check the show notes area or the description, I'm going to have links to this written guide, as well as where you can find Shortly and Frase and the AI Content Dojo Facebook page, or I keep saying page, Facebook group, where we just chat about things and in the AI space and how to be productive, or how to market our stuff, design in some ways if needed. I mean, basically anything that has to do with being a writer online or a content creator online, trying to make it in this big internet, right? And anything that's required to make that happen will be free to discuss there. And that's it. Until next time, take care.